Victor Vito, ladies and gentlemen, an absolute hero for all us Hurricanes fans. 100 games for the Canes, and the very last game that he played was the 2016 winning final, the only Super Rugby title that the Canes have had. 33 tests for the All Blacks. He left in 2016 to go play for La Rochelle in France. 134 games for them over 7 seasons. Played in 2 Rugby World Cups, 2011 and 2015, and also was voted Player of the Year 2017 in the French Top 14. In 2022, he finished his career winning the Champions Cup. That is the best title you can win in European club rugby. Victor Vito. Just talking about, playing rugby in France as opposed to playing matches for the Hurricanes and playing for Wellington and that. What's the difference?
I think when I first arrived in 2016, the game was pretty loose. Defences weren't as solid as they are now, but I think obviously fast forwarding to where they are now, the systems and everything have really gotten quite good, and some of the best rugby in the world is being played in the Northern Hemisphere now. So it was awesome to be a part of that journey, I guess, over the last 6 years.
And just in terms of the contestability of that rugby and the physicality of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're in one team for 10 months, so you're putting together strategy and tactics for summer rugby. Then all of a sudden the winter rolls around and you're going to have to change how that rugby looks, and certain teams come to the fore in that time. And then when the summer months start rolling around again, you need to start getting a bit faster and fitter with the way you play the game again. So all within 10 months, you're getting all of this variability. And I think if anything, for a team, it teaches you how to sort of, strategize on the go.
And obviously, you haven't been playing Super Rugby in New Zealand for, 6, 7 years, 8 years, something like that. And so, but just trying to compare the two, Super Rugby with the French domestic national competition.
I think it's more of a marathon here. Obviously, the seasons are much longer, and there's just more teams to try and get across, because you're playing the Heineken Cup or the Champions Cup alongside it as well. So it's you're constantly having to change, and you're doing a lot more away trips and that kind of thing. And between the English, the Irish, the Scottish, and the Welsh, like there's the rugby and the Italians, the rugby just changes, and I think you're just forced to constantly be changing tech in terms of how, obviously knowing how you play and what your strengths are, but having to take hold of what the new threat is coming in. It's not the same thing. It's not a Hurricanes and a Crusaders. Obviously, we play our own styles as well in New Zealand, but a lot of the rugby is quite similar back home compared to what we come up against over here.
A professional career spanning, 16 or 17 years though, mate. How's the body after all of that?
Oh, the body's not too bad, actually. That's kind of why I got out when I did. I had an offer to sort of stay on, but I just thought it was time to get the family home, and I think just as well. Body was thanking me, because you're right, it definitely went through the wars, especially being a loose forward in the top 14 here. I think I took about eight odd years to get 100 games. Right on my last game, obviously with the Hurricanes, but I did then about 3.5 seasons here. So you definitely go through it. So it was a good time to get out.
Victor Vito is with us. One more question on that before we move on to the quarterfinal this weekend. Just in terms of when you're an All Black and you've played sevens, you've played international rugby, you've achieved what you've achieved, and you get here with that kind of reputation. How do they treat you? Do they expect you to play absolutely Champions League level right from the very off? Do they give you time to settle in, or what?
I guess it all depends on the environment and the coach. I mean, I guess a club like Toulon that's well known for being quite cutthroat. I mean, they've won Champions Cups and top 14 titles and all the rest of it. So, I guess that would be their expectation, and obviously their president runs a lot of that. Their old president anyway. But I came to La Rochelle, and I think that expectation was there, but they obviously let me settle in. It probably wasn't till about a few months in that I kind of started understanding that you kind of just got to roll with the punches over here. And it wasn't until I sort of channeled that in the kid again, I guess that's when I started playing my best rugby, and I guess that's what the French rugby was back then, and it still is a little bit. You can see some of that French flair coming back, and that's because they've got their systems and stuff, but they really just let you have a go, and it's something that I obviously definitely enjoyed in my time back then.
Was it great for the family? Was it great an experience for you yourself, a Polynesian man coming here, raising your children here, everything?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I look back at some of the best times of my life.
Wow.
Having my two of my three kids born here, and obviously going through COVID, that just probably brought us closer as a family because where we are, we live on Otarai, which is like a little holiday island. It's if anything, COVID, we were very lucky to be removed in that period, but I had so much time off to be just there with the kids and my wife, and we're just reading books, going for treks, going for rides around to the beach and stuff like that. Like it's yeah, I was very very grateful for the time in their lives that they were so young and they had their dad around, and just I think it was yeah, I'll always look back with fond memories, which is why I'm back here and catching up with guys like Tawa Gubala, who we're very close with, still playing here, and Winnie O'Neill, he's obviously with the French team at the moment, but we had a really good crew here of foreigners that really did immerse themselves into the French culture, though, and I think that's the key. You just got to immerse yourself, speak French, and that's when the French, funnily enough, that's when they open up.
So you're fluent, obviously, then.
I can speak well enough. Yeah, I can speak well enough to get by.
Okay, let's turn our attention then to the quarterfinal this weekend. We're in Paris for this, and we're at the All Blacks' first presser yesterday, first training. They got game face on, business face on. This is a hell of an ask and a hell of a challenge for our team, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big 100%. It's a big challenge and a big ask. I mean, it's what All Black rugby, it's what Test rugby is all about. You know, I mean, you look at those pools, and you've pretty much got two semi-finals happening between us and Ireland, and then obviously South Africa and France. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but I don't think it's anything different to what All Blacks expect. You know, at the end of the day, you've got to beat the best to be the best, and I think that's the way we walk towards the challenge, and I'm sure the boys are prepping well for it.
Your All Black debut, of course, was against Ireland, so there's a real connection there. This Irish team, though, Victor, you know, and we've talked about it all week, mate. I mean, what they've ticked off, everything about them, 16 in a row, beating the All Blacks in New Zealand, winning the Six Nations like that bruising encounter against South Africa. I mean, where are their weaknesses? Where can we get at them?
Their weaknesses, I mean, yeah, to be fair, they don't have many, but look, I think we have what it takes to beat them. You know, I think we can get parity up front in the set pieces for sure, especially in those forward exchanges. I think if we can limit, I think Izzy Dag was talking about, if we can limit Johnny Sexton's running time and actually have a black wave just coming forward all the time and force them to go backwards, you know, they'll be forced to kick. But that's easier said than done. But we can only do that as well as if we stop hugging our rucks so much, because we've been pretty tight to the rucks, and we've been able to get rounded by most teams actually getting outside us, and we can't afford that against Ireland, because once they're around you, they're scoring points, you know. So yeah, we just if we can solidify our defense and really force them to go back in every exchange. I mean, we did that with La Rochelle. We analysed obviously Jamison and Johnny and all the rest of them, and we were probably beating them in the last three Champions Cup finals where there was a semi-final or finals. It's not hard to. It's not easy to do, but it's definitely doable. So it's the challenge is there, and I know the boys will be up for it.
Victor Vito is with us on the platform. So just expanding on that a little bit, because one of the frustrations I'm watching the All Blacks of late is the first one is that, you know, we haven't had the kind of warm-up games and the intensity that, you know, a lot of us believe that we need. You've been through 2 World Cups, and you've played obviously in games where, I don't know whether they're a glorified training run, but they're games that the All Blacks are expected to win and to win well. What do you gain from those kind of games that actually is any good for you in a contest like a quarterfinal?
I think, look, you know, I think what it does test though is your mental fortitude. Like, how tough are you on yourself to still bring out an All Blacks worthy performance? That's what the real test is. And at the end of the day, you know, you're an All Black. You know, you're expected to give. You know, you don't show your respect to a Uruguay or whoever by just turning up and thinking you can go through the motions. You show them the respect by being the best All Blacks team you can be, and that means mentally think in your mind you're playing South Africa, Ireland, the best. It doesn't matter, you know. So you turn up every day because that's the expectation. So, if anything, that would be the positive that we can take from those sorts of games. And we obviously put some good scores. And anyway, we train harder than we want to. You know, we want to train harder than we play. So, you know, our training sessions, especially those Thursday sessions where we're beating each other up, but we hope that to be our toughest session of the week. And then the game, obviously that's tough too, but it's no different to some of the difficulties we've had banging up against our own guys. So I think that, you know, having not so many top oppositions to go against, you know, you can use that as an excuse, or you can use it as as something that allows you to actually finally unleash when we've got our chance now, obviously, against Ireland.
Just go back to the technicalities of what you were talking about. In that opening 20 minutes, do you want to see us play really tight to the ruck, like maybe using one-off runners instead of going expansive wide? Do you want us to see us play straight?
Yeah, I think you can't really avoid that, against a team like Ireland. You're going to have to show them that you're abrasively there, that you're, physically you are present. But at the same time, if anything, I know that the Irish they've got a very strong 40. They always come out very, very strong in the opening 40, and then the opening 62. In the opening 20 in the second half. But if your wave can keep coming, and like you say, if you can keep bringing in our power carriers like Brazil and obviously Artie and a few other guys too, if you can nullify someone like Bundy Aki, who's a massive physical force for them, they rely heavily on him to go forward. If you can look after guys like that, then look, we're in with more than a chance. So I'm excited to see what we do.
Every time I look at that guy play, mate, I just think of Ma'a. I really do. Don't you?
Yeah, 100%. He's probably been one of the players of the tournament the way he's been going. And they do hang their hat quite heavily on what he can produce for them. So obviously the All Blacks have been doing their homework, and they're going to be having to figure out a way. Obviously, there's Sexton, but there's probably more importantly a guy like Bundy that if they take their eye off the ball and he gets a few breaks and makes a few good offloads and all the rest of it, it's going to be pretty tough for us on Saturday.
Couple more questions, I'll let you go, and thank you so much for spending so much time with us, mate. Victor Vito with us, an absolute hero to all us Hurricanes fans, played his 100th final game in the only championship that we won back in 2016. So just in terms of the crowd, the atmosphere, and I want to touch base with what you've experienced playing in these Champions League competitions and playing in the European club competitions. As All Black fans, we're going to have to bring it. I know that we sit there silent with our arms crossed and we moan a lot normally during games, but the Irish are going to come in full voice. They'll never stop singing and shouting. How important is that when the All Blacks run out, they see black and they hear black?
Oh God, that's going to be hugely important, and I just hope that we black out the stadium somehow. But I can only imagine the Irish have already gotten their dibs on most of the tickets for this game. They're only just across the water, if we can get any parity somewhere, that would be pretty amazing, because they'll be trying to sing Cranberry Zombie or something. I don't know.
They do, mate. They do. Yeah,
I know it's but look, if anything, that can be all part of the spectacle too, and I think we can also turn that against the crowd. When you're on the field and you know that you've got a bit of dominance and you hear that the crowd's not singing because they know that, oh my God, my team's in for a game here.
Yeah.
You can channel that and you can feed off that with the boys as well. Even when they start singing, you can tell the boys, yeah, that's right, they want us to freaking rise. You can use that for your own stuff as well. So it's all about how you approach it mentally.
I love that sound of silence when you get the crowd to shut up. That means something, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Thank you so much, man. Great talking to you, eh? As I said, just a real hero of us Wellington Hurricanes fans. And it sounds as though you had a fabulous life. You thoroughly deserve all your success as well, mate. Congratulations on all of that. And again, brilliant that you come on with us. Thank you.
Nah, all good, money. Thanks, mate.
Devlin. Oh, how does he do that? How does he do that? The Platform.